Okay, so we'll go ahead and get onto our mat. If you want to use a pillow or a block or something to lift your seat, you are more than welcome, of course. I'm going to put mine off to the side. I generally will sit up on that block or a pillow first thing in the morning, but as the day goes, you might find that you'll be a little bit more loosened up, or you can just go ahead and extend the legs up. And if you want to, you can bring your hand off to the side, maybe a little behind you, and just lift your chest a little bit. Just get a nice long spine. And thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades together. So we're just going to really prepare ourselves to get into a nice, comfortable seat before we begin our practice normally. So just lifting your chest, getting a nice arch in your back. Now you could do this in seated or with your legs straight. So you may need to come up onto your fingertips a little bit, just lifting the chest. Take a couple breaths there. And then coming back to center, let's bring our hands to the sides out in front of us. So if you have your legs out, you can go ahead and just bring your hand forward and let your back round a little bit. Or if you're in Sukhasana, you can round in that as well. So just take a couple breaths there. Maybe round a little bit deeper, chin to chest. Sway side to side a little bit. Just sort of open up the back. Okay, let's come back to center, and one more time, bringing the fingertips back behind you. Lift your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, maybe lift your belly. So you're thinking about trying to tilt your pelvis forward. So the hip bones go towards the floor in front of you. Maybe look up at the ceiling. Take a couple of breaths here. Come back to center, find your center. So maybe bring your fingers to the side, sway side to side, feel the sit bones. You might want to even try to bring that flesh right out from underneath your sit bones. And just going side to side. And once you get to center, go ahead and lift your hands and just twist to the left. Relax the hands down, just a gentle twist. Take a couple breaths here. With your eyes closed, feeling the spine twisting. Come back to center, lifting the hands as you go right to the other side. And getting a nice straight spine as you twist. Coming back to center, right? And let's bring our left hand down, right hand up. And just make a little bit of a hinge, opening up the side body. Come back to center, right to the other side. So quick little warm up before we get into our Sukhasana, whatever version you have. Once you get back to center, place your hands onto your thighs or your knees. And then once you get there, go ahead and soften your shoulders again. We just kind of warmed up our spine so that we feel a little bit more upright maybe. Right hand on your heart, left hand on top. Let's take a moment to honor the heart center for everything it does for us. Bringing your hands into prayer. Go ahead and set an intention for your practice. Great. Slowly release your hands down. Let's do some breathing exercises. Always thinking about bringing in oxygen, gives us a little energy, supports our body from the inside out. So whenever you're ready, inhale through the nose. And pausing at the top as you relax the shoulders. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Expanding the chest and belly, right? Get it right at the top and hold. Exhale out through the mouth. Let's do a counting this time. 4, inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4, hold at the top. for 2 breaths. 2. Exhale out for 4. 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4. 2, 3, 4. Holding at the top. Relax those shoulders. Exhale out your mouth for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more. 4 in, 5 out. Inhale for 4. 2, 3, 4, and then hold at the top. Exhale for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Return back to your natural breath. Great. And then you can slowly open your eyes. We're going to come right onto our hands and knees. We'll do some cat-cow first just to warm ourselves up. Now, if you have a blanket, you might want to grab one for patting your knees, because we're just going to spend a few minutes on the knees. Okay, so if you have your blanket, you can put it wherever you want it so your knees feel supported. All right, inhale for your cow, lifting the tailbone, looking forward. Introduce the stretch easily first. Exhaling around the back, chin to chest. Remember, you always want to start your poses slowly, mindfully, and softly at first, gentle. This is a gentle yoga class. And then as you warm up the body, you can start to deepen it by, making subtle movements. Squeeze the belly into your spine and your cat. Exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together in your cow. I think you know by now what you like to do. So just go ahead and inhale, exhale to your cat, pushing the floor away, drop the head down. Inhale and drop in the belly, looking forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the tailbone. Maybe waggle the tail a little bit, get a little bit of extra stretching in there. Exhaling for cat, push the floor away, chin to chest. And maybe you just want to shake out your head. Great, we'll come back to center. Let's do one more round on your own. So just think about that breath that connects with the movement. And then make all those fine movements that you want to feel good in your body. So really, really connecting that breath with each movement. And then we'll come back to center into our tabletop. Let's go ahead and do extended table. The first thing I'd like you to do is make sure that your knees are hips width apart. Extend just the left foot back and tuck your toes and set it down. Now, the reason I like to do this, because this really sets you up nice. So you still want to have a good alignment. The hips are staying parallel to the floor. All you're doing is flexing the left foot and bringing it up straight. Now, you really need to engage your belly too at the same time. So do that a few times before we do a full version. So setting the toes down, squeeze the belly, lift the legs straight up, and then set it down. So you're preparing yourself for this posture. So once you've done that a few times, you're going to start to feel a little bit of strengthening in your buttock area. Well, that's what we're looking for, right? But we also want to protect our lower back by keeping that belly activated. All right, set that foot down. And then let's just extend the right arm out. And we're going to go right along the ear. So the upper arm is along the right ear. And you want to think about reaching for something. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch. And then from here, I just like you to bring the hand down and tap the floor, bring it right back up. So you'll start to feel that strengthening as you do it. So keep looking straight down and just bringing the arm straight up alongside your ear. Bring it down, tap the floor, come back up. And just doing that a few times. See if you can notice what's happening in your body as far as strength goes. Okay, so whenever you're ready, bring the hand down, and now let's lift the leg and right arm at the same time. Lift up, take a nice big breath in, squeeze that belly in, hold for 2 breaths. Awesome. Release down, right back to table. Now you might, if you're not using a blanket, you might want to just kind of lift one knee and then the other. Shake out your wrist, because that's a lot of weight to put on our wrist, right? So we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So thinking about building up into your postures, it makes it more successful for you. Makes you feel like you're doing a little bit more than you usually do. So extend the right leg side, tuck the toes, set it down. So you want to think about those hips being level with the floor. Your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. So whenever you're ready, you're just going to lift that right leg up, but keep that foot flexed and then squeeze the belly in. Set it down and right back up again. So this is like moving into an active movement, right? So you're just lifting, setting down, lifting, setting down. You probably feel it in your butt, but also in your whole leg. Just do a couple more here. You'll start to feel that things are happening. Maybe it's getting into your lower back now. But keep that belly strong to protect your back. Great. Now we're just going to keep the leg right in, where it is on the floor. Extend the left arm alongside your ear. Reach for something. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch on the outside of your shoulder. And then bring the fingers and touch the floor, bring it right back up. So you want to have a nice active arm as you're doing this. So bring up and down, preparing the body for the full version coming up. So think about squeezing the belly a little bit. All right, hand down, and now both up at the same time. Lift, hold, squeeze the belly in. It's a lot stronger than we normally do, right? So just keep breathing. Exhale, release. Let's go into a child's pose. So big toes together, separate your knees, sit back. You don't have to go all the way down into the full version of child's pose, whatever version you like. It's just a resting moment. If you want, you can lift your hands, shake out your wrist here. Open and close the fingers. Let's loosen that up. We're going to take a couple long deep breaths here. Great. Now we're going to come forward, and then we're going to go into on the long side of our mat. So we're in a tabletop position, but on the long side of your mat. Let's see if you can see me here. Okay. So I'm in my table. Now, if you have a block, go ahead and bring it close by. You may want to use it at some point during this actual posture that we're going to do. We're going to do a long stretching. We're going to activate now the sides of the legs. So first thing is to extend the right leg out to the floor. Get my water out of the way here. So you're taking your right leg to the floor, and the toes are pointing forward. So you're getting a nice little stretch in that inner groin, right? So that's nice. Maybe that's okay. Now pad your knees if you need to. Walk your hands over to the left. Take your block and put it in the left side. Now, I probably would do the medium because that's the more secure. Place your left hand on it. Lift your right hand up, come up, and extend your right hand up to the sky. So this gives you a little bit more space to get into this posture. And really reaching for the sky, and then take the right arm alongside your right ear. Take a couple breaths here. Feel that line of energy from your fingers all the way down your body to your feet or your foot. Now we're going to do some rotation with the top arm first. So let's go ahead and bring the fingers down towards the floor. Now you're getting a twist. So if you go slow, you can feel that there's a twisting going on in your spine. Wipe it across the floor and off to the right and up to the ceiling. So big circles. So go ahead and do a few of those on your own. Lifting, making those, it can be a little unbalanced if you don't have your base secure. But just a couple more circles here. Once you finish the last circle with your arm up towards the ceiling, go ahead and go in the reverse direction. So off to the side, over your straight leg, down to the floor, over to the left, up to the sky. So just doing the opposite direction. I'm getting a nice opening in our chest, rotating the spine, also opening the shoulder. All right, let's do one more and then coming back up. Now take your right hand down to the floor. Now you might want to put the block on the lower end or get rid of it altogether. And the reason is now we're going to be lifting this right leg. We might need more room. So you can bring your hand anywhere you want on the left side. This is the most important thing, is to have a base. You have your hand as your base and your left knee as your base. Okay, so be sure that you're in a position where you feel like you can lift your right leg and feel secure. Flex the right foot, lift it up, and set it down. That's all we're going to be doing. Keep doing that. Up and down. So you're going to feel the strength going on. And your right side of your leg, it's really tight there, right? You're squeezing, lifting, squeezing, lifting, squeezing. Couple more. Gonna get our bottom half looking good, ladies. All right, and then we'll stop. Bring the hands down, walk them to center, untuck or bring your knees back to center like you're gonna go back to table. And grab your block if you need to, keep it by you, because we'll use it again, right? So here we go. Walking the hands over to the right, and then maybe take your block to the side here if you're gonna use it. I'm gonna use the medium end, so. And extend your left leg out, just like the other side, toes pointing forward, feet or foot is flat on the mat. Okay, and then find your block, right hand on the block, lift your left hand. Now find out that you're secure. So now you have a bigger base, right? You have your left foot, your knee, and now your right hand on the block. That's a nice base. Okay, so think about even when we're doing Warrior Two, we're constantly trying to make that foundation, and then extend the left arm up to the sky. And then alongside your ear. So upper arm alongside your left ear. Get that nice stretch there. Take a couple breaths there. It should feel nice to be able to stretch that side body. And I will do the rotation. So bringing the fingertips down towards the floor. Now follow the twist, right? So follow the fingers as you twist down. Swipe the floor to the side, up to the ceiling, and down again. The same thing on the other side. We're just making big circles, making sure your foundation is secure so you don't fall out of it. A couple more. All right. And now we'll come to the top and let's reverse the direction. So side, floor, front, and up again. So taking your time, feeling what's going on in your body, twisting, stretching, opening up joints, especially the shoulder. Let's do a couple more. Okay, so last one. Let's go ahead and bring our left hand down to the floor. You can move your block out of the way, right hand down to the floor. Now we're going to be losing some of our foundation when we lift the leg. So your right knee and your right hand is going to be your foundation. So be sure that you feel secure. If you can just lift that left foot, make sure you're secure. Left shoulder back, lift the foot, and set it down. So the left leg is going up straight. And you should feel a nice strength on the left side of the leg. And just do that a few times. So we got the glutes, we got the hamstrings, we're getting the side. I'm going to get some nice shaping here. And do 2 more. Not easy, I know. The last one. Whew. Okay, knees back to center, hands back to center. Go ahead and sit back onto your heels. Let your hands go to the side, maybe onto your thighs. Go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. Shake out those wrists. So the reason why I always like to close my eyes, because then it makes me stay inside the body, scanning areas that bother you. When my wrists are kind of tight from putting in so much weight, I always shake them out. Okay, awesome. So let's get back into the long part of the narrow part of our mat. We're going to go back into our tabletop and a couple more rounds of cat cow. So just feeling the opening of your spine. There we go. A couple more. Okay, so once we get back to center, we're going to do a little bit of stretching in the upper arms a little bit. So just drop your elbows down to the floor. Drop your head down to the floor and place the back of your hand on your back. And then slowly start to shift your hips back towards your heels. See if you can get an opening in your, like, think about your armpit. That's what you're trying to stretch from your armpit to your elbows here. You don't have to go very deep to get this stretch. You can relax your head down as you want. We're just getting a different area. We're also getting the upper chest a little bit, not that much. It's mostly in the arm. Okay, coming back to center. Place your hands down to the floor and then start to slowly shift your hips back. Get some stretching in the whole arm now. Maybe you want to go all the way back to child's pose with extended arms, but you don't have to. I'm not. Great. Lifting your head up. Let's come back onto hands and knees. Now we're going to be going into downward facing dog. So prepare yourself for your downward dogs. Bring in your hands about 2 handprints, tuck your toes, lift your hips, and shift them back into your downward dog. For your first downward dog, please bend both knees first. And then allow your arms to straighten as you straighten your torso as much as you can. So think about trying to get your ears on the inner part of your upper arms. That's the general direction. Once you get that nice strong back, straight back, go ahead and straighten your legs a little bit or pedal your feet. There we go, right? Open up those legs. Shake out the head if you need to. Beautiful. Bending both knees, walk those hands back towards your feet towards your hands. Separate those feet. Bend your knees. Relax the head and the arms. You know what this is. Ragdoll. So swaying side to side should feel nice. Take a couple long deep breaths here. All right, we'll come back to center. Let's take our hands onto our hips. And then we're going to come up with a flat back. And the way to do that is to squeeze your shoulder blades together, bend your knees a little bit, come up with a flat back. All the way up to standing. Great. And let's go ahead and extend the arms up to the ceiling. Stretch out. Exhale, bring your arms down. And we're going to go to the long side of the mat. So first thing we're going to do is stretch the side of the body again, and then we'll do our twisting swings. And then we'll do some rotations. So we got a little bit of fun going on here. So let's go ahead and first separate your feet as wide as you like. Get a firm foundation. Extend those arms up over the head. Now you have options here, right? You can interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. That's up to you. Or you can take your left hand on top of your right wrist and pull that right arm up to the sky and then hinge to the left. So either version is fine. Okay. So take a couple long deep breaths as you do this nice side body stretch. Think about opening up that rib. So you want to breathe into the right side of the body. Let those ribs expand. So think about each rib has a bunch of muscles in between. So we're trying to open that up too, so we have more room for our lungs. Coming back to center, release the arms and shake them out. So we're going to do the same side. We're building on it. So you're going to take your right hand behind you, bending at the elbow. Take your left hand on top of that elbow. Push that left elbow back. Hinge to the left. A little bit deeper here. Take a couple breaths there. Coming back to center, release the arms and shake them out. All right, so there you go. So let's do the same thing on the other side. So either you're interlaced with the other pinky on top, or you're taking your right hand and grabbing your wrist and pulling the arm up, okay? So it's your choice. I'm gonna do it with just my wrist. So bring them up overhead, pulling that left arm, and then hinge to the right. So getting a nice opening in your right side of your body. Take a couple breaths here. Great, and then we'll come back to center, bring the arms down, shake them out. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side as far as the elbow. So the palm of your back, left hand goes on your back, elbow pushes back. You're going to take your right hand right onto the elbow, push it back. But then you want to make sure you take your right elbow back. So everything's being pushed back and then hinge to your right. Big opening. Open up those ribs. Now, don't be afraid to take deep breaths. We need the oxygen. We don't breathe enough. Okay, and we'll come back to center, release the arms and shake them out. Now for our swings. So go ahead and separate those feet wider than your hips if they're not already. Arms out to a T, the swing on one side, open up lift your other foot right to the other side. So let those arms get heavy. So we did a lot of stretching. Now, this also brings some blood flow right to the fingertips, right? All right. Okay, and back to center. Let's go ahead and shake it out. We get a little bit higher into our spine. You know what to do. Right hand with a fist, left hand on top, wrap those fingers, elbows level. Go ahead and swing again. So swinging the upper back, you're feeling the shoulder blades move as you breathe. Okay, coming back to center and shaking it out. Now we're going to do a little bit something with, let's take off a block. Let's come to the front of the mat. We're going to do sun salutation B. Normally we do A, so have a block nearby. I'm going to go to this end. It's easier for me. Okay, so have your block in front of you. Separate your feet so they're hips width apart. Lift your toes and find the foundation of your feet. So always thinking about your foundation from the feet up, right? And you're building everything. So lift those kneecaps, lengthen the tailbone, squeeze the belly in. And then you're going to hinge at your waist, bend the knees deeply, place the block down right underneath your nose. Okay. Now you can take both hands onto that block. It's on the high end. Now we want to have a little weight with our hands on the block, just a little bit. All right, so you have your knees bent, you relax your toes. Now, I don't want you to actually think about, so look at your feet, feel your feet. You want to shift a little bit back onto your heels, but then push down onto your toes. Bend your knees as deep as you can. Hold that for a minute. You can feel the legs starting to get a little strong here. Bring your hands on top of your thighs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then let the arms go straight out in front of you for chair pose. Hold that for 1 to 2 breaths. And now bring your hands back to the block and straighten your legs. Let your head fall towards the block. And shake out the head. Come halfway up. So you're just pushing into the block. That helps you get into the halfway up. And then exhale, fold. Releasing arms down towards the floor. And then you're going to bend your knees deeply. Place your hands onto the floor and step your right foot back and set the right knee down. So we're doing a simple version of this, but I do want to try to introduce it slowly. So we're on a low lunge. Let's do a twist here while we're here. Right hand down to the floor, left hand up to the sky. Open it up. Bring the left hand down. Now we're going to straighten the front leg, the back leg, sorry, straighten the back leg. So you're in a lunge, but it's a kind of a lifted back leg lunge, not all the way up. If you can, keep your right hand down, left hand up to the sky to twist. If you can't, bring the right knee down. Bring the left hand down. Okay, now we're going to bend that right knee and try to get it to the front of the mat. So we're trying to get that right foot to meet the other foot. So make a little springing and then step it up. So you're back into your knees bent. You can grab your block and put it underneath you. Place your hands on your block, straighten your legs, straighten your arms, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs, shake out the head. Arms out to a T, come up with the flat back. Exhale, extend your arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. All right, so shake that out. And let's do the other side. Now I'm going to go to the other direction. You don't need to move. I just want to show it so I'm at the right side to you. All right, so we're doing the exact same thing. So just place your block where you want it. Feet are hips width apart. Get into your nice Tadasana. And then you're going to fold at your waist, bend into your knees, place your hands onto your block. And remember, the block is on the high end. That's going to give you as much room as you need. Now, lift your toes, make sure they spread, feel the four corners of your feet. And you just want to shift back a little bit so you feel like you're getting the weight into your heel and then press into your toes. Go a little bit deeper into your squat. Yes, it is a chair pose, but it's really a squat. And then you're going to lift your arms out in front of you the best you can, as far as you can. That's what, you don't need to go too deep. Hold for a second. And then release the hands to the block. Straighten the legs, fold over your legs. So we did the halfway lift, and now we're in the forward fold. Push into your block for a halfway lift again. Now we're going to be removing the block here. So go ahead and fold over your legs, bend your knees, move the block, place your hands down to the floor, and step just the left foot back. And bring the left knee down. So you walk your hands back, you find the right alignment. You still want your knee directly underneath over your ankle on the right side. Left hand down to the floor, we're doing our twist. Right hand up to the sky. Reaching nice and tall. Coming back down. So the left toes are tucked. And now you're going to lift your left knee. So you're getting a big opening in your legs here. We did this last week, I believe. Right hand up to the sky. If this is too much, just drop your left knee down. Otherwise, hold for 1, 2, 3. Release the hand down. And now we're going to get that left foot up to meet your right. So I like to make a little bend, and then I like kind of spring it and step it up. If you want to grab your block and put it underneath you again, place your hands onto the block, halfway lift. So both legs straight, arms straight. Exhale, bend into the knees, fold over your legs. And you could just let your arms hang for a moment. Arms out to a T, come up with a flat back, and extend the arms high to the sky. Exhale, release. Okay, so shake everything out. Now we're nice and warm. That's enough. I don't think we need to do too crazy. Now, I'd like to just focus on Trikonasana. So this is a triangle pose. So let's take the block over to the left side, or whatever side you want. You're on the long side of the mat. Take your left foot forward, step the back foot back. So we're getting into our triangle. You know how to get into triangle, so I'm not going to tell you every time. Okay, so the first thing is straight leg with a teeny bend, right? So we still want to make sure that we keep we don't want to hyperflex the knee. Pushing the big toe mound of your front foot, right? And that gives you a nice, strong leg. Place that block where you want it. Back foot's at an angle. Think about pushing on the back part of your foot. So we're in our triangle, right? It looks like a triangle, arms out to a T. So we're going to do a couple different little things here. We're going to have just a little bit of fun. Now you're going to shift forward. So thinking those hips go off to the side, you're reaching forward. You place your hand onto the block, right hand onto your hip, and push that right shoulder back. Take 2 breaths here. So the longer you hold the pose, the stronger you get. Now look down. You can bend your knee a little bit more if you want to come back up, almost like you're going to get in a warrior two, but we're not really. And then straighten that leg again. So we're going to be building on that. So arms out to a T. This time I want you to take your right hand behind you. So now you're almost forced to push that right shoulder back, right? And then go ahead and hinge where you can't go any further. Place the hand on the block. Then think about pushing that right shoulder back behind you to a wall behind you. If this hurts or it's too much, you can just put your hand back on your hip. Okay. Looking down, bending into your left knee a little bit, come back up, arms out to a T. So now we're back to triangle. One more version. This time we're going to hinge forward, getting back into your triangle. One hand down. Now top hand goes up to the sky. Then you can take the top arm alongside the right ear. So now you can feel that there's a long stretch there, right? Whew. Bend into your left knee as you come back up to standing. Now we're just going to go right to the other side. So you parallel your feet, or switch whatever you want to do. Let's do the other side. Same exact thing on this side. So placing the block where you want it. Front leg is straight. Big toe round outside of the foot. Strong legs, right? And then bringing the arms out to a T. So we're doing our traditional triangle. So go ahead and hinge forward over your front leg. Placing your hand onto the block, left hand on your hip. And then push that top shoulder back. So you're going to find that there's different versions of triangle that you can use for your practice. This might be your triangle forever. Who knows? And then look down, bend into your front knee, come back up to standing. Now the next one is going to, again, Try a different one. Back of your back, left hand on your sacrum, maybe. Push that left shoulder back. Hinge forward, reach, 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 reach. Place the hand on your block. And then make sure you push that top shoulder back. If this is too much, hand back onto your hip. So we're really trying to learn how to open up the body and at its fullest extent. Helps with our posture. Okay, so looking down, bend into your front knee, come back to standing with the arms out. So last one, we just that one that goes along our ear. So let's go ahead and hinge, reach, 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 reach. Hand on the block, back hand up to the sky, and then alongside your left ear. So this might be your version. Maybe you want to stay upright. Maybe you just want your hip up behind. So find the one that works for you now. You can build later. That's what's important about yoga. It's finding your posture that works. All right, bend into your front knee as you come back up to standing. Shake out those arms. Let's get those feet back together. Okay, so now we're going to do, let's do forward fold with some goddess. So we're not going to be doing trying to mix up the classes a little bit so we can start working on other muscles that we haven't been working on. So, and plus I'd like to keep you guys challenged. So the first thing we're going to do is wide leg. You want your block in front of you if you need to. Some people may need it, some people don't. Toes are pointing forward, straight forward. Legs are engaged. Again, think about your foundation. Grip your mat like you're on ice so you won't go into a split, right? Hands onto your hips, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then start to fold at your waist. So you maintain that straight back. That's why you have the block and underneath you. So here you go. You can take your hands onto the block, but squeeze those shoulder blades together. It really maintains that nice back, but squeeze your belly in to touch your lower back. Take a couple breaths here. This may be something really challenging, especially as you're gripping into those feet. Now we're going to walk our block to the left and place our hands onto the block to the left. See what's happening here. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch in the right hip, but your left leg is getting a little bit tight there, right? Just take a couple breaths there. It's amazing what our body can do. Twist, turn, all kinds of directions, right? Lift your block back to center. Be sure you have a nice straight spine with your belly in, always protecting your back. Walk the block to the right. Place your hands on the block. Now just let your body respond to that. Something's happening on the left hip. Something's happening on the right leg. As you do this. Great. Coming back to center. Bend your knees. Place your hands onto your hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades, and up you come. Back to standing. Now we're going to be doing full version of goddess pose. Just do the best you can. Toes are going to go out. So bring those heels in so the toes are in an angle. Bend into your knees. Now you want your legs to open. So think about the knees going over your second toe if you can. Now, the most important thing is the pelvis. Pelvis is like a bowl. You want to be able to lengthen the tailbone down so that you lift your pelvis so it's neutral. Squeeze the belly in. Place your hands onto your thighs. Now, you might want to just kind of go side to side to see what's happening, but you want to try to keep your body upright. Engage your belly. Great. Now we're going to go back to center. And then arms out to a T, palms facing forward, bend at the elbows, fingers upright. Goddess pose. Take a couple of breaths here. This is a lot stronger than you think. Think about pushing those knees apart. Separate them. Elbows level with your shoulders. Push your elbows back. Goddess pose. Woo! And then straighten your legs, relax the arms. We're going to do that 2 more times. We're going to do a couple of pulsating. We're going to really open up those legs. Okay, again, right into your goddess knees, tracking over to your second toe. Now, some people can get really low. You do not need to get very low. Just go as low as your body can tolerate. So we have a lot of muscles that support our pelvis. So you want to tilt that pelvis so that you're not cutting your back. Arms out to a T, open up wide. Make sure you're nice and strong in your foundation, your base. Open up wide, and then bend as the elbow. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then pulsate up and down just a little bit. You're going to start feeling some really intense activation in your thighs. Okay, straighten your legs, arms come down. Whew. I know it's tough on the legs. Let's do one more, and then we'll try something else. Bend into those knees. So you can take your hand onto your thighs and just kind of push those knees out. Then I want you to really get to the pelvis and think about really trying to lift your front of your hips as you lengthen the tailbone down. Arms out to a T, palms facing forward, bend at the elbows. Here we go, pulsate, just little pulsations. You can go deep or up, or you can just do little ones. It doesn't matter how deep you get into the pose, you're gonna feel what works for you. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Okay, last one. Straighten the legs, toes forward, shake it out. All right, okay. Now we're going to bring the toes in and the heels out. Now you feel like you're gonna be walking funny. Now you're starting to rotate the hips, the thighs into the hips a little bit. And you're just gonna do that and place your hands onto your hips, hinge at your waist, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and start to fold. So this may not seem like much, but because you make that little movement into your toes and to your feet, you're getting some other muscles that we haven't targeted. You can place your hands onto your block. Now, when you have your arms straight, your feet are forward, you still want to go up the mat like you're going to keep your legs from falling up, sliding apart into a split. Okay, squeeze the belly in, and then bend the elbows, come down a little bit, and right back up. So just do a few of that a few times, up and down. So bending the elbow, straighten the arms. Little baby muscles in the pelvic area. Okay, then straighten the arms, bend your knees, put your hands onto your hips, come up with a flat back. Beautiful. Let's walk those feet back together and shake everything out. All right, let's do tree pose, and then we'll get down to the floor. We had enough of this opening up our legs, twisting our spine, having all kinds of fun today, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and do tree pose. So find a drishti point, find a place that you can stare at. Right foot first, lift your left foot, place it where you want it. Again, you could use a wall. You use a wall, you take the other arm up. If you're not using a wall, you take both arms up. So just keep finding that nice balance on your legs. So why do we do balancing poses? It zips everything right back to center for us. Makes our right leg strong, and it gives us a sense of just focus. Drishti point is just a focal point, right? You stare at it. Nice. One more breath. Of course, you can do tree pose as long as you like. And then we'll come out of it nice and slow. Shake out that standing leg. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So we have the left leg is outstanding. Right leg comes up, or foot comes up. Place it onto the thigh. The shin, the thigh, whatever you want. Now find your balance first. So really important, try not to watch me. Try to find something away from the screen that doesn't move. If you're using a wall, take the other arm out. If you're not using a wall, take both arms up. Okay, so keep that for a couple more breaths. You fall out of it, just take your time and come back into it. We don't want to be too serious in yoga. We just want to feel good. Do what feels good. Awesome. Let's come on down, shake everything out. Now we're going to start come down. So let's bend our knees, get onto, oops, sorry, my cracking knees. Let's go ahead and sit onto our buttocks. Now keep your block nearby. We're really going to start slowing down a lot. But I do have a couple more stretches we want to do with the block. So go ahead and sit yourself onto your back. Relax the head down, relax the shoulders. First thing we're going to do is just going to open up the lower back a little bit. So I'm always looking for ways, like I said, to do counteracting poses. Take your block, lift your hips, place it underneath your sacrum. You're keeping your feet down for right now. You let the weight of your body just press onto the block for a second. And then just bring the right knee into your chest, interlace in front of your shin or your thigh. Just get a nice little stretch in your buttock area. So when you think about lifting that leg and we're engaging the glutes, now we're stretching it out a little bit. Keeping that knee nice and close to your chest. Okay, a couple more breaths here. And then straighten your left leg down towards the floor. Any amount. If it bothers your lower back, just don't do it. Once you get into that position, so your left leg is straight, right knee is in your chest, flex both feet. Take a couple of breaths here. Close your eyes. Stay within yourself. Be the observer of your own body. And then slide your fingers underneath your thigh, your right thigh, and extend that right leg up to the ceiling any amount, flexing both feet. Great. Release the right foot down, both feet back onto the floor. So both knees are bent again. Just rest here for a moment. We're going to do the other side now. And there we go. We want to slow down. We did a little bit of warming up today. So bringing the left knee into your chest, interlace front of the shin or the thigh, and just draw that left knee in. Just hang out here for a moment. And just take, a couple of several breaths here. We just want to stretch those little glutes there. Check in with your breath while you're here. Is your breath smooth with a nice rhythm in and out? Perhaps your breath is a little bit longer than your inhale. That's a good thing. Extend the right leg down towards the floor any amount and just feel the stretch first. Once you get into the position, go ahead and flex both feet. Get a nice stretch there. Couple breaths. Awesome. Let's go ahead and slide those fingers underneath your thigh, your left thigh, and extend that left leg up to the ceiling any amount. Flexing both feet. You still want to keep those feet going flexed. It gives you the most stretch. If you don't want to, that's fine too. You're probably still going to get a stretch, just not the deepest version. Great. Bend the left knee back into your chest. Both feet back down onto the mat. Knees are bent. Now we're going to take both knees into our chests. Hug them close. You may need to adjust your block. We're going to go up to legs up the wall from here. When you're ready, go ahead and extend both legs up to the wall, up towards the ceiling. So this is a modification of legs up the wall, which normally we would do against the wall. You would just have your legs up in the wall. Because this is a virtual class, this is the best way to get into the posture. It's kind of fun. You can do it in small rooms if you have a lot of stuff in your room and you have only a little space. Grab a block and here you go, legs up the wall. So let's go ahead and wiggle those toes. Rotate the ankles, make them happy. Make sure you go in the other direction too. Slow, quick, whatever calls to you. And then just let your feet relax and just let your legs hang. See if you can mentally or internally feel what's happening from your toes all the way down your feet to your thighs. Like, can you feel some sensations? Because if you think about gravity, allowing everything just to flow down towards our heart, and cleaning out the circulation and your lymphatic system. It's kind of neat. And then go ahead and start to shake the legs a little bit. And then let's go ahead and bicycle forward. See, just pedaling forward. I always flex the feet as if I'm really pushing into the pedal. Just makes me a little bit more coordinated. And then you could reverse the direction. And then vigorously shake out those legs. Okay, so we're going to bring the feet back down, lift the hips. And now we're just going to go right into Shavasana. So go ahead and extend your legs. If you want to keep your knees bent, that's fine. You can put like a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees. But you want to settle into a version of Shavasana that makes you feel comfortable, because we're going to do a body scan. Now, body scans are really super helpful to allowing you to go body part to body part to release. And you'll start to feel this really heaviness, a really sense of peace. It's really kind of cool. So close your eyes, let your head get heavy. So let the floor support you. Soften your entire face around the eyes, between the eyebrows, the cheeks, and then down to the jaw. Soften your throat as you release any tension in your neck, all the way to the shoulders. Soften your elbows as you relax your forearms. Relax the back of your hand onto the floor as you allow the fingers to curl naturally. Let your chest be light. Let your belly be warm. And release everything in your pelvis, especially your buttocks. You did a lot of work there, so let it go. You're going to soften your thighs, your knees, your shins, all the way down to your feet and toes. Can you feel the back side of your body resting against the floor, completely supported and safe? Feeling the heels connected to the floor, maybe your calves, your buttocks, and your upper back. Get a sense of heaviness now, or perhaps even a little bit of lightness. It's your experience. Whatever it is, please enjoy. And start to reawaken the body. Again, you can always stay in Shavasana as long as you like. Wiggle the toes and the fingers. Extending the arms overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. Stretch one side and then the other, bending at the knees. Roll onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Your left hand out in front of you, in front of your chest. And then pushing yourself up to Sukhasana. And take your time getting there. So towards the end of the day, you certainly don't want to rush because it's time to slow down. Sitting up nice and tall. Placing your hands onto your thighs or your knees. Let's do a couple circles in our neck first before we close our practice. The circle in one direction. Introduce the circle with small circles and then increase the size as your neck starts to get used to it. Come back to center and then go in the other direction. Small circles first. And then big circles. Beautiful. And we'll come back to center with your eyes closed. Right hand on your chest, left hand on top. Take a moment to honor the heart center where we hold the compassion for ourselves and others. Hands into our Jali Mudra in prayer. Go ahead and bow to yourself to seal your practice. Coming back up, opening up your eyes. Namaste.